there, welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham. It's 4 on the bounce. Can we get a 5th on the bounce? It'd be absolutely right time to start our good form as well, especially with Arsenal losing their last game, and we play first before Arsenal, so a chance to really one. So we're previewing that and talking about all things Tottenham and a few other things as well. 3 great guests with me. Nick from Shelfside Spurs. How you doing, buddy?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me on, Chris. Really good, really good.
No problem. Thanks so much for coming on. And if you didn't see Shelfside Spurs yesterday, we'll let you know where you can find it. But is Vez still alive? Anyone who watched that will know what we're talking about.
He's I've spoken to him this morning. He says he's fine. There's no issues. I'm really surprised. So maybe it might take effect either tomorrow morning at Ben's coffee house, or it might take effect at the ground. So I mean, it looked horrible, if I'm honest. So
Stuart's inquiry for me, it was a DeVito, nothing more than that.
Yeah.
And Brad, welcome back to the show. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Chris. Good. Thanks. I'd say happy Easter, happy Ramadan, happy Passover, happy chocolate eating weekend, happy anything else, whatever this weekend is significant for.
Absolutely. And as you can see there, Bob from Bob Spurs TV. I'm sure you're sick of hearing it by now, but I don't care. It's brilliant to have you back on YouTube, Bob, and back healthy again. And thanks so much for coming on. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well, mate. Very well. I'm not a chocolate eater, but I suppose you have to today. Happy Easter to everyone apart from Dyche, probably, who isn't feeling very happy. Big news this morning, Chris. Big news.
Yeah, well, we'll get onto that firstly. It's not relevant, especially to Spurs, but it is because we have to play them. And Nick, Dyche leaving Burnley, 8 games left. They've got someone in their back room taking charge of their next game, so 7 games left if they get a new manager in quickly. I mean, very strange time to sack someone. Do you think that just says, well, we're down, we're planning for next season, or do you think they've got something in mind there?
Yeah, I think it. Well, I mean, Leeds and Everton, like we were saying in the back room, they're rubbing their hands together, because I think it would have been a straight shootout between all 3 of them. I think the Norwich result didn't help, and I think we were talking about it on other groups and stuff, and obviously Chris Wood going potentially was the start of it, but like Ben said, he's got a release clause. Another club have met it. So yeah, I mean, it is strange. I don't really understand, unless there's a Everton are sacking Lampard and he's going in at Everton. I don't really know. I don't really know what kind of what the he's been there 10 years. He's an expert of working on a shoestring budget, and Levy's probably ears have pricked up this morning knowing that he's available. But Burnley have got a lower budget than any some of the teams in the Championship, and it's just madness. I don't really understand it myself.
No, and for everyone watching, firstly, I should have said this earlier. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit the like, please hit the subscribe. Go to Shelfside Spurs and Bob Spurs TV. It's in the description, but they'll let you know where you can find it at the end of the show. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. That gives you a notification when we're about to go live. Really helps. And get your comments coming in. Really appreciate it. And Brad, Sean Dyche is I'm going to start calling you Barry as well sometimes, and Nick, because it's just
fine.
That's fine. On there. Just, but there's no other Barry or Nick on here, so I'm talking to you. But Brad, as Nick said there, shoestring budget, and they got into the Europa League one season. What an absolutely fantastic job he's done. And this is the big rumour that Paddy Hartnett has mentioned. How you doing, Paddy? Big Sam for the rest of the season. But, I mean, it's surely too late for Big Sam to take over and survive relegation, surely, right?
It's crazy, Chris. I mean, as Barry was saying, Nick was saying, Ranjit was saying, what he's done on a shooting budget with these clubs has been phenomenal. And I'm just looking at league tables, and they're 4 points behind Everton. That they played the same amount of games and the same goal difference. So it's not insurmountable with 8 games to go that they could get out of it. And who better than Sean Dyche? Certainly better than anyone else, I guess, they're going to put in, with 8 games to go. It's crazy. If you're going to do that, then do it, halfway through the season. Give the manager time to bed in. But I don't know. But, it's not Tottenham. And so
Jay Ashraf has said here, perfect job for Mason?
Wow.
Question mark. Firstly, Bob, do you see Mason taking over there, or a good fit for him? And secondly, with Dyche, do you think it's now time that he'll be able to step up and go to probably a team that you expect to finish halfway? You kind of expect Burnley to be fighting relegation. Do you see it as a time now that he can go to, like a West Ham level? Obviously, they're performing above expectations. Like Southampton, maybe someone like that, or Leicester if Rodgers has issues. What would you see next for Dyche? And then we'll move on to Tottenham, which is the show.
With Dyche, like Brad says, surprise timing. They're not so far adrift where they can't, come out of it. Their fixtures aren't too great, but they're not. But they beat good teams as well, especially at home. So surprise timing. As for Mason, I think he's at Spurs. Yeah. As for Mason, I think he's at Spurs for the long haul. I think him and Conte have got this bond. I don't know if you ever watch Conte, Cam, but Mason seems to be at the forefront of Conte's hugs and celebrations, and I think they're close to it. I think, and I know this word's probably ill used, but Conte's grooming Mason for potentially a more of a higher level job at Spurs. And I think he's one of our own, isn't he? Regardless of what I thought of him.
Said about going to a mid-table team, well, he might be at Arsenal next season.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But do you think he'd be ready for Arsenal, or do you think that's too high a step up for him?
No, I think it's too low a step for him. I think he's beyond that.
You beat me there, Bob. I was just going to say, try and take your biased hat off.
No, Mason, I think is there for he'll be. He'll stay at Spurs for a long while. I don't think it's right for him right now as well. I think another season under Conte. What a mentor. And I think he'll move on if he moves on.
He's got time on his side as well, hasn't he? Hasn't he got time on his side?
Yeah, exactly. I think he'll be a Carrick-esque kind of person, always be there and thereabouts. And he's Spurs, isn't he? So I think that's important that we have someone on the coaching team who's Spurs through and through.
Yeah, I like Mason just because Spurs through and through and shows a lot of passion. But maybe that was just after Jose, who just divided quite a lot of the fan base. But that's Burnley. Let's talk Tottenham. Nick, 5 wins out of 5. Is that going to happen with this Brighton game?
I can't look. They went like the week before and did us a favour by beating our relatives or our neighbours down the road. So, I think it's 5 wins out of 5. I think, obviously there's a bit of, we know Skippy's out for the rest of the season. We know there's some niggles to Bentancur and Winks. Not so much worried about Winks, more Bentancur.
Well, I read on Twitter that it's a niggle, but going to be fit for the game. Whether that's true or not, I mean, you have 10 different stories on Twitter about the same thing, and each one is different. So which one do you believe? So until it's announced by Tottenham in the team sheet tomorrow, then. Yeah, and so look, I think it's 5 wins out of 5. The run continues, Mr. Daigle, if you're watching. I mean, look, I think we like I said, we still need to take it game by game, and Liverpool will have more of an idea of where or how the top 4 is shaping up. But there's no reason why we can't go, on a 6 out of 6 and a 7 out of 7. Because and especially with Leicester now getting through, it probably helps us a little bit more because they're going to be, they're going to have one eye on that, and if it's a tough game, then it's going to benefit us, for that game, and we've got an extra day's recovery, and they've only got 3, couple of days to get ready for us. So it's all things are great. The sun's out. It's going to be a great day tomorrow. So 100%, 5 out of 5. Why not? Yeah, and Brad, same for you, or is there a chance that, not kick-started a Brighton season beating Arsenal, but it's obviously a fairly big scalp after a fairly poor run of forms? Do you see that continuing, or do you think we'll have too much for them at Tottenham?
I think we'll have too much from in the end, but I remember that game we played against them at the stadium a few years ago where we got the Ericsson goal right near the end, and that was a game that we had to win or should have won comfortably. I think they'll be difficult, but the way I'm looking at Tottenham now is, I remember the last season at White Hart Lane under Pochettino, where you go to games that you should win, and you think, oh, this will be the game we slip up, in typical Tottenham fashion, and we were winning 3 and 4-0. We were winning comfortably.
Well, that season, as soon as the first goal went in,
the
was
same is happening
over.
now. I went to Newcastle thinking, difficult game, we should win, might be 1-2. We beat them 5-1. Villa, I predicted a draw. We beat them 4-0. So I'm getting those sort of vibes with this team, but you never know. It'll be difficult. If we can get the early goal and then draw them out a bit more, then I think we do well. And also, the chances of them beating Arsenal at Arsenal and Tottenham at Tottenham, they're quite long odds, really. If they hadn't have beaten Arsenal, if Arsenal had beaten them comfortably, then the odds would have shortened. But yeah, I'm quietly confident, but I don't think it'll be easy. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it'll be easy.
Yeah, Mark has said difficult 5-0. Possibly the way that we're playing, but Bob, Brad mentioned the Newcastle game there. Do you think that's been an important game? Not the fact that we scored 5 goals, but the fact is we went 1-0 down and then clawed our way back fairly quickly and then ran out comfortable winners. Do you think that gives them kind of confidence that if we do go 1-0 down, we've still got enough to destroy teams and beat teams? Whereas under Nuno, if we went 1-0 down, that's game over.
Yeah, I think the most important thing about what you said, Chris, is they know. They know they're going in feeling that they're going to smash every single and like we're not winning, we're winning well. Turning a minus deficit into a plus 19, a 10 over Arsenal. I mean, Kim was speaking the other day. A positive goal difference is like a point. Fergie always used to say that goal difference. You always just look at goal difference. Typically, we were waiting for an ice cream van all day yesterday. But fucking turn up now. I think we. Sorry,
is it Tony Bell?
Yeah. It'll be comfortable. We'll smash them again. 4-1. I know we're coming to predictions later, but I like to look at the narrative because it sounds better. 7 wins in 9. And it'll be 8 wins in 10, it'll be 9 wins in 11, and then it'll be 10 wins in 12. I really do believe before we get to Liverpool, we'll have a record that every Premier League team will want. So it'll be comfortable. It'll be comfortable tomorrow.
And the win also will put pressure on Arsenal as well. And Southampton after their tonking last week will be like not wanting to repeat that. So.
You beat me to it, Brad. This was the next one.
Either that or the seamless link, Chris.
Seamless link.
I shouldn't have said anything. I should have said.
You got the memo. Brad got the memo.
Yeah. I mean, Bob there, Nick, talks about Liverpool. A lot of fans will not just Spurs, but football fans thinking that we'll lose to Liverpool at Anfield. I'm not so sure now. I think we'll obviously do a lot bigger preview when it comes. Although I can't watch the game, my bloody brother has decided he's having his stag do that weekend.
How dare he?
Why don't people think about it anyway?
How rude.
But I think that the way that we played at White Hart Lane or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, whatever it's called, creating, 6 clear-cut chances and carving them open, I think that will play an effect in that game. So they won't be as gung-ho as they were because they know if they leave gaps, and they're fighting for a title here. So it's an important game. It's not just a rubber game. And if we can take our chances, which, it's weird football. You don't take your chances in one game. You then take ones that you don't necessarily score normally in other games. So I'm not sure it's a foregone conclusion, but that's never really been our problem. The games that we're not fancied in, it's always the games like this Brighton game where we're expected to win. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a question. I've just waffled there. But let's go back to the slide. Let's go back to putting pressure on Arsenal. That's imperative for this Brighton game, right? Because Bob, I think you mentioned on a comment on here a little while ago after they lost to Palace, you saw them buckling under the pressure, maybe, and they've now lost to Brighton as well. So, in terms of the pressure, Nick, do you think? Not the end of Arsenal, but do you think that could be kind of a devastating thing? And they're kind of waiting for us to lose a game so they can win a game rather than, well, we've got to win because Spurs have won. And also, could we put pressure on Chelsea as well after their... my girlfriend's dad is a Chelsea fan and told me before the Southampton game, we won't do anything. We can't score goals. They've scored 9 goals in 2 games. But do you think they'll buckle under the pressure a little bit as well? Or do you think it's just about Arsenal, this?
I mean, if we take Arsenal first, I mean, obviously Bob said that there's at least 2 defeats before we play them. They've already had 2, and I said 2 to 3, and I'm probably upgrading it to 4. But there's every chance that before they play us, they could lose every game. They're in a type of situation where they've not been under pressure, and now the pressure and the spotlight is firmly on. Okay, the little decisions, I know that that goal was offside, but little things, fine margins are going kind of against them at the moment, and they're a young team. Obviously Xhaka at left back was just kind of comical, and then
Xhaka anywhere is comical.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I could get that guy sent off every game, I think.
But and then moving Martinelli there, that potentially is probably the only, the second half, probably the only guy that's probably going to score. They're not scoring either. That's the other thing. So they can't keep. Ramsdale's. He obviously had that purple patch at the start of the season, but because he's not, he can't do it all by himself. So there's a lot of pressure on them now, and I think that we go out there, we put the pressure on them again, and like you said, Southampton are not going to want to repeat what happened last week. And I guess in terms of catching Chelsea, who knows? I mean, they've gone through. They went through a hard game. They went through extra time, and that's going to affect them. But I think now, I think it'll be tough to catch them. But you never know, right? Because they've still got to play Arsenal. They've still got to play Man U. There's potentially games that are going to, that they are going to slip up in. And they may just think now, well, we've got third. We don't need to worry about it. And then if we go on the run, and I mean, if we win the rest of the games till the end of the season, which we could quite easily do, you never know what could happen. But I think that I think in their mindset they'll be like kind of like Fergie said, oh, it's Tottenham boys. That's the kind of thing that Tuchel will be kind of saying to him. But you never know. Football's a funny old game, and like Bob said, any Man City or Liverpool at the moment would give their right arm to probably have the results that we've had, and absolutely, I think when you were talking about when we go to Liverpool, there's definitely a chance for us to get something from that, because look, we beat Man City, and Man City, but based on their game that they played against Liverpool, last weekend, they were the better side, so we beat Man City. So in theory, we can beat Liverpool, right? So
yeah. Ishak's put in a comment here, what happened to Bentancur? He's taken a knock. I'm not sure. I'm assuming a training knock, but hopefully he'll be back for the game. But Brad, in terms of top 4, is it just Tottenham or Arsenal or Man United still in the conversation? I think West Ham are probably out. They can still obviously make it. They could be on cloud 9, but I think all of their eggs now are in that Europa League basket rather than top 4 race. But yeah, same question I asked Nick. Tottenham versus and Arsenal for top 4, or is top 3 in play now as well?
We'd think so. You'd think that it would be Tottenham and Arsenal as a straight shootout. You wouldn't want to write off Man United or West Ham. But I think the good thing is that Tottenham have got it in their own. It's in our own hands now. It's based on what we do really, rather than what the others do. I'd like to think that we can get top 4 without getting anything at Anfield. But that's not to say that we can't get anything at Anfield. I mean, I would be pleased with a point at Anfield. I don't think we had a point at Anfield since I can remember, probably since the 2-2 draw with the Kane last-minute penalty. But the other thing that I worked out the other day, that we have to beat Arsenal at home. That's, I think, going to be crucial. That would mean that if Arsenal won their remaining 6 games or 7 games, we would need 15 points from 18 to beat them. And that's if Arsenal win all of their last games, apart from us. So it's in our hands. And yeah, never write off teams like Man United. They could go on a run. What my point is that at the moment, if you think of a marathon, or not so much a marathon, but say a 10,000 metre race, where you got the favourite, and he runs, and he has his kick for the last couple of laps, and he wins. We seem to be doing that at the moment. We seem to be hitting form at the right time of the season. And I think that could be crucial, because if we keep on winning even before the Liverpool game, then it might be too much of a thing for us or Man United or West Ham to make up anyway. As for third, let's get fourth first. Let's worry about third if it happens. But I think let's concentrate on winning our games to get fourth. And if Chelsea slip up, they slip up. And if we get third, we get third. But at the moment, I think we should just concentrate on winning as many games as we possibly can and getting fourth.
Yeah, are you of that opinion, Bob? Just concentrate on fourth first, and like Brad said, it's in our hands now. So if we beat Arsenal, we can afford to lose against Liverpool. And yeah, I mean, it's just a complete turnaround because of how it was just, I don't know, a month or two ago. But what do you put that turnaround down to? I want to get yours and Nick's thoughts on the front three, because obviously you haven't been on here since those front three have been kicking on, and certainly Kulu in. Brad has mentioned that on here. He was on there last week. But yeah, what do you put this upturn in form to? The front three, Conte getting his point across, other players stepping up, the new boys coming in, or combination of everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a combination of all, front three clicking, but we need to address what's obvious. It's Conte. Conte's done it. Conte's made our average players better and our good players world class. We've always had world class players, but the way Sonny, Kane, and our back three and our front three are imperative for the run in. Bentancur, if worst case scenario he does miss tomorrow, which I don't think he will. But I think we can cope with that at Bentancur right now, purely because of the system. Be it Winks, be it Harvey White. I saw him in, I don't know if you saw the training. He never gave the ball away. He was one player who never gave the ball away. And I personally think Conte wouldn't be that worried about putting a Harvey White in. But I don't think Bentancur will miss. Liverpool game, yeah, I've said before, I think we'll be in a position where we can afford to lose the game. Again, I don't think we will. It's purely and simply the high line that they play. They play such a high line, and with the front three, the way we're playing at the moment, the best three in world football right now, I think we'll have a beating of them a few times. And don't be surprised at the end of the season if we're like 7 points clear from fifth and 5 points behind Chelsea in that fourth position. I think we'll comfortably finish fourth. We really will. It'll be the North London derby will be a non-event when it comes to the league, but I think it'll be the perfect time to just rub it in. Just rub it in. Everyone turn up. I want everyone to turn up with bottles, plastic bottles. This is what you guys are, bottlers. Just make it an event. Just make it an event, and then I think the North London derby will be irrelevant, but it doesn't mean we don't need to rub it in. We'll comfortably finish fourth. We might not get to third, because I do think I did say the Brentford home defeat was everyone has a one-off defeating them throughout the season. I think that was a one-off. The fact they met such a great Real Madrid side next game, it was just an unfortunate coincidence or unfortunate. But the 6-0 against Southampton kind of show where they are, and I think they'll comfortably finish third, and we'll comfortably finish fourth easily. Never, not in doubt.
Excellent. I love your enthusiasm and optimism. I've been saying we'll get fourth for the last 3 years. And we've got nowhere near. I've now started 2 months ago. We won't get fourth, and then we started picking up form. So, from my point of view, and for that reason only, we're not getting fourth.
Yeah,
so
maybe Chris, you said you predict we get fourth in the next 3 years, in 3 years' time.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
No, it was Poch's last season, which I think we just about did. It was then Jose's season, then Nuno. I went mad when we were top at an Arsenal bottom. 3 games in.
Yeah.
Absolutely pointless.
Yeah.
But it's for you, Bob. Your thoughts on the front three? Obviously, we know 2 of them, but Kulu looks like he's played with those guys for years, slotted it, and a lot of the fan base complaining that he didn't have pace, and Teddy Sheringham showed you don't need that. But yeah, are those 3 as good now as Mane, Salah, what's the other guy? Firmino were in their heyday? I mean, they're absolutely tearing teams to shred. Aston Villa, Kane and Son setting up, and then if Kane's not around, then Kulu becomes the provider for Son. And how good are they? And if we can get fourth, get some better players in, they'll be imperative next season. And how far can we go with those 3 up top, bar than injuries and suspensions and everything?
Yeah, I think Kulo's been a revelation. His first touch is amazing. What game was it, Kim? The Villa game. The Villa. We were looking out for his first touch. His first touch is absolutely amazing. Yeah, exactly.
And that's why he doesn't need that blistering pace.
He doesn't. I don't think he's slow. I think the when he ran through against Newcastle for Sonny's goal. Again, something that Bergwijn and Lucas can do. When Decky went through, he went on his first touch on his right. His cross was on his right, straight into Sonny to score with Sonny's left. I don't think a Bergwijn or a Lucas could do that with their left foot with such accuracy. But I don't think he's slow. Yeah, he's not the most rapid. But like you say, Chris, with the first touch, yeah, he doesn't need that. And for me, and I keep on saying this, and he reminds me of, he's very Ginola-esque. I think next season we'll see a bit more. There is so much to unlock in Decky. You can see the skill set in him that's we've not even seen yet. And I do think once he gets that little bit more confident, I mean, this is a guy who's still bedding in. He's probably a bit aware not to do too much. But once he's unlocked everything, he's 21 and he can only get better. Don't be surprised if we see Ginola-esque performances from him going down that, because Ginola wasn't fast. He wasn't rapid. But the front three, it'd be interesting, and this is probably something for Will Stewart, it'd be interesting to see the same numbers of goals that Firmino, Mane and Salah compared to our front three, because I wouldn't be surprised if we're hitting the numbers, but better numbers. Our front three are hitting better numbers. But yeah, right now we're unplayable. The front three are unplayable. I think Kane's probably a bit gutted. He's not scored in the last two games, and rightly so.
That's what you want, though. You know, there's such a thing as being too selfish as a striker, but you need that selfishness a little bit to go, well, it's good that they're scoring, but I'm not. I'm a bit unhappy, because it drives you forward to score more goals. It's if he's trying to do messy stuff and take the whole team on to try and score his goal when it's an issue, But
on Kane, Chris, I mean, if they did assists for the season, and Ranjit will know where I'm going with this, that ball that came over, normally the forward, the number 9, number 10, the number 9 normally will head it on to the runner. But for the ball to come over, and while it's in midair from Romero, Kane looks at where Sonny's making a run, and he heads it the opposite way.
Yeah, amazing.
Caresses it, Rez's favourite word. Caresses it right into Sonny's.
He did the same for Kulusevski's goal, didn't he? Against Villa?
Yeah, Kulusevski had to do a bit more. Whereas Sonny, it was straight. It was perfectly paced, placed, and that for me has to be a world class assist of the season.
He even seemed to put backspin on it as well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, just so it sort of dropped
Unbelievable assist. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. And the good thing about watching TV coverage was it was close up when they showed it in replay. They had close up and you could see him look, and that is amazing. Going on back Kulusevski in his pace, so I don't think Kane's particularly quick either.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, Nick, for you, the front three, and what I love about Kulusevski, and where I think he's better than Morva certainly, is Morva drifts and wanders about. Whereas we saw against City, Kulusevski can track back, help Emerson or Doherty, and then going forward, he can do stuff to assist and score goals himself. So he's very disciplined, I think. And what it's also done is, last season especially, Kane comes deep, Son's the runner. If you mark Son, Kane's got no ball there. Now he's got two people to run onto, and you know, saw what happened in the fourth goal with Kudus. Kane was nowhere near it, and then Son still scores because it's two linking up. But I mean, how good are those? Can those three be? And in terms of Kane, do you think he's answered not his critics, but obviously a lot of Spurs fans unhappy with him at the start of the season? Do you think he's answered those, and certainly answered whether he cares about Tottenham?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've seen. I mean, there's loads of stuff on Twitter and stuff that he's due to reject Man United and sign a new 4-year contract with a release clause in this time. No gentleman's agreement in it. But look, yeah, I think he's changed his game and adapted again after, and he's not, he's bought into Conte. He's bought into the system. He's bought into, he's there and thinking, okay, yeah, I mean, I had the, we all saw from the Amazon documentary when Jose sat him down and said, I want to make you better, I want to do this and everything else. And okay, Kane believed, you can believe that Kane believed it because it was coming from Jose, right? But actually, Conte's done that and elevated him even further. And yeah, look, we all sat there at the start of the season and, you can sit there and say, look, they just lost we'd lost the European final. There wasn't really, he didn't really have a break. There was all the nonsense going around with whether asking to leave, and then he didn't leave, and everything else. So it was just kind of, I guess it kind of affected him. We must remember that these people, although they're paid hundreds of thousands of pounds every week, they are human beings, and they're still affected like we are with things that happen. And they're living their life out in the public eye and Twitter, and someone. It's very easy for someone to get on their phone now and say, "Oh, Kane's a tosser" or whatever for what he did, and there may be 200 positive things, but Kane would just pick out the one that says that's calling him out. So, and I think we probably all do that when people are in the comments and everything else. We forget about and we forget about the good stuff that we've maybe spoken about or anything else, and we just focus on the negative, really. So, yeah, I think he's answered his critics. I mean, in terms of the front three, I mean, look, you saw that goal for Sonny's hat trick. Kulusevski running on, and it was just the footballing brain. Mings got put down, and he could have shot. He was waiting for Sonny. He knew again. He almost instinctively knew that Sonny was going to be there. And he just needed to hold it, waited that pass, and then Sonny put it in. And tomorrow, if he gets an assist tomorrow, he will break the record for the most assists in the first 10 games that anyone's had in the Premier League. So, yeah, to do that, like Bob said, 21 years old, just slotted into the team, it is just incredible. We couldn't have asked, for him to come in and, provide that. Provide what is provided in terms of goal contributions and goals, and to be fair, he probably should have scored more. He's had opportunity to score more. So look, for someone that we were all, everyone was kind of at the end of January. It's Tottenham again. The last day or 2 days before the window shuts, we're getting loans. What's going to happen? And they just hit the ground running. So it's exciting to think what they could do, and also Kane obviously hasn't scored the last 2 games, but I don't think that matters. He's putting
he's
in
contributed, isn't he? If he's not contributing, then that's
been insane. And it's almost, we all know we need that creative player in the kind of midfield, and he's almost said, "I'm going to do this, boys. We're going to get top 4, and that's what I'm staying. I'm going to beat Greaves' record. I'm going to be a club legend." And I think it's all very well where we were being saying it. Oh, if that was me, I'd want to be a club legend. No one else. It's going to take a long time for someone to break that record and everything else. But for him to actually sit there, and I think he firmly believes it, and he knows it now that he can do anything. And look, if he's firing like this, who's to say that England don't go on and win that World Cup as well?
Well, they're good to see someone actually coming out in support of Kane staying at Spurs in Gerrard. I mean, Gerrard being a one-club man, he probably appreciates it and sees what Kane, and for Gerrard to say, look, winning something at Spurs, winning one medal at Spurs probably means more to him than winning multiples at a City or anywhere else. And it was actually good to see that.
Yeah, Brian Daigle said, hasn't he, that he expects Kane to stay because he's 23 off of beats his record. He won't get that this season unless he has a phenomenal last 8 games. But you'd expect him to beat that next season, keeping injury free. Yeah. And in terms of Kulusevski, Brad, like Bob said, he's only 21. He's possibly got the best manager you could get, but maybe other than Klopp, maybe, or Pep. But in terms of he's coachable at 21, and you've got someone who has made good players better, world-class players, even more world-class, average players, good players. And he can only get better with Conte there. And in terms of Son as well, in terms of Kulusevski, obviously it was Kane and Son who, certainly last season under Jose, if we're going to win games, it's Kane and Son. He's now, do you think he's taken a little bit of pressure off?
Oh, undoubtedly, because we never
there's an extra body there to score the goals, and
an extra body that has proved himself to be a player that you got to watch out for. I mean, Lucas, bless him, did all right, but you never thought of him as being a massive threat. You can we concentrate on Son and Kane, don't worry about Lucas. Whereas now you've got to concentrate on all three of them. And that's got to be a good thing. And I hope what Tottenham do now, and maybe we might talk about this later, is I hope they realise they've got a really good front three, but now you look for backup for that front three.
Yeah.
It's like the back three we've got are pretty good. You look for backup. And I hope that's what takes their, what they do during the transfer window time. Because at the moment, as you say, the Firmino, Salah, and the other one, Mane. I wish we'd have signed Mane when he's at Southampton, but yeah, I mean they were phenomenal, especially when Liverpool won the title. Absolutely phenomenal, and I think our front three are doing just as well. I mean, I think the argument about who's better, it's a bit of it's one of those things that Tottenham fans will say one thing, Liverpool fans will say the other. I think it's probably an irrelevant argument because they're all two good front lines, and they've all got sort of their own strengths and their weaknesses. But yeah, no, it's going very well. I do get the impression that Kulusevski is a bit one-footed, but as Bob said, that ball he put across the Son's goal against Newcastle, yeah, and I think, he came on his left foot for the Man City game, didn't he? But yeah, he's used his right foot, and the more you do that, the more that you get better at it. But no, I think this is a front three that hopefully will stay at Tottenham for a long time to come, and the Conte effect cannot be underestimated. This guy gives fans confidence. So God knows what he gives players confidence.
I mean, in terms of one-footed, Thierry Henry was pretty much one-footed, and he didn't do too bad. But obviously, we used both.
Gareth Bale as well.
Yeah.
We say one-footed. I mean, Brad, for Sonny's hat trick, how many times do you see wingers get to the byline, take on a player, and then there's defenders and attackers in the box, and they mess it up?
Yeah.
Decky actually found Sonny with his right foot for Sonny to complete his hat trick.
Yeah.
So his right foot isn't too bad, but you're all right. When he's going through, you expect him always to cut in. But I think it's shown already that he has got accuracy, because what that ball to Sonny required was accuracy with so many defenders. Once he put Mings on his arse, he had to find a Spurs
what I
player
like about him, Bob? He's physical for the Premiership as well.
Yeah,
very strong player.
Yeah,
and as you
typical Scandinavian built and mindset, isn't it?
Yeah. And Bob, what have you made of Bentancur as well? I mean, we've got Skip injured and has been for a little while, probably for the rest of the season. It's then Winks in there, which fills most of Tottenham fans' nightmares, I think. Even though I quite like Winks, he tries. I just think the quality isn't there. But he's formed a good partnership, Bentancur with Højbjerg, and we look a lot more solid. And certainly that Villa game, certainly that first half. Obviously, Lloris was the star of that show. But the amount of times in the past we'd have ended up conceding a goal and then maybe conceding more and more and more, and then probably been 3-1 down and maybe got to 3-2 at the end, but lost the game. It seemed to me like there's a bit of kind of mental toughness now, certainly in that midfield. And I think Bentancur has been a huge part of that. Obviously, Conte will be a massive part of that. But again, like Kulusevski, who said he's still bedding in, but looks like he's been there for ages. Same with Bentancur, really. And I think the Manchester United game was the key game for him because he was terrible. And I think he learned there very quickly, you don't get that space in the Premier League that you get in Italy. If you want that second touch, it's got to be pass and move. On the move, you get the ball back, and then you can have your second touch. And since then, I can't really remember him giving the ball away that much. But I mean, how good can he be as well, and how good has he been? And it shows as well that you don't necessarily need to spend £100 million on a player to get a good player. I think it's Conte scouted or whatever. And in the summer, I'm not bothered how much money we spend. I just want the players in to be the ones that Conte wants. But in terms of Bentancur, I mean, how good can he be, and how good has he been so far for you? Yeah,
I mean, we tend to overlook that he's had 300 plus or 200 plus professional games as well. So there is experience there. And you're right, I said a number of times, before when people were bigging up Bentancur, I said, he's a good player, but for me, he does give the ball away a bit too much. Earlier on, he did used to get caught in possession and lose the ball, not necessarily give the ball away, but always used to get caught in possession. And he had a shocker against Man United, but Fred and Matic, took the piss out of him basically, and I think that's the best thing that ever happened to him. Now what he's doing, which we'd probably label to Winks, he does pass the ball back, whereas before he was always looking at that killer pass, always looking forward, too much forward, which it's kind of hypocritical of us to an extent. But I think he knows when to play the sensible pass now, whereas before he used to hold on to the ball too long. Him and Højbjerg clearly have a great partnership. They're bringing out the best out of each other. So he can only get better. 24, he's 24, so he's a bit older than I think, but he does have that experience. And I think the only experience he needed basically was the Premier League experience, and that Man United game is probably the best thing that's.
I think so.
Definitely. He's been faultless since then, hasn't he, Chris?
Man United have been good to us this season, haven't they?
yeah, they have.
But what I liked in that Man United game from him, even though he was terrible, he's obviously had 10-minute spell or whatever where he was terrible. He didn't go hiding at all. He still wanted the ball. He still wanted to try and take the second touch or do stuff with it. Whereas certainly with Winks, I'm not picking on Winks, but it's just a good example, easy example. But there's times where he went hiding and didn't particularly want the ball, and certainly in the Carabao Cup final, he had 10 meters a radius around him, picking the ball up from Dyer, I think, and then just passed it to Dyer instead of going forward. So it's obviously confidence, but that was kind of hiding and not wanting to make a mistake rather than trying to be brave. But like you say, there's a time to be brave and a time not to be brave. I think the maturity of Bentancur, probably with the hundreds of appearances that you mentioned. But yeah, I mean, Nick, for you, Bentancur, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, look,
superb, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we were all saying when Skippy got injured, we were worried because, of everything that kind of happened. But like Bob just said, him and Højbjerg together have formed this stunning partnership. It's brought it, it's kind of almost taken the pressure and the focus off Højbjerg's performance, and he can just go in and do what he needs to do. And everyone's talking about Bentancur and everything else. And, like we said, if Skippy comes back, he's not walking straight back into this team. Whereas, 6 or 7 weeks ago, everyone was raving, I can't wait to see Bentancur and Skip together. I can't wait to see those two
that's
together.
A brilliant thing for competition for places, isn't it? It doesn't let Bentancur and Højbjerg rest on their laurels because they know if I don't play, Skip will come back. He's in. Forces Skip to train harder and impress because he's been out.
Yeah, and it's a real shame, right? Because obviously it's kind of, it's kind of the World Cup year now, really. And Skippy, if he hadn't got injured, he was probably pushing to get in that squad. And I think coming back in August is going to, it's only a couple of months. It's not a normal World Cup year in so to speak. So, yeah, it's a shame for him. But like you said, competition for places, it's great. And it's meant that, everyone has kind of been on top of their game. But the other thing that we've got with the back three and the front three is we've got that spine back again that that we had with Dembele when Dembele was there. There was that link all the way from back to front, and we've kind of got that back now, which is fantastic because at the start of the season, like especially when Winks was playing as well, bless him, we're going in on Winks today, but there was the back three, there was the front three, and there was nothing connecting it together. And that was shown in the performances, that was shown in the results. But I think it's going to be interesting. We need to, we obviously we know we need to strengthen. It's going to be interesting with the 5 subs and obviously playing 2-3 games a week potentially. Then that we are going to need to strengthen, but. Yeah, it's great. It's great for the competition, but I also think it's been great for the morale. If you look as well, the last few weeks, and especially at Newcastle, they're all everyone's celebrating together, whoever it was, and even when Royale flicked that one off the end of his stud that went in, everyone was still, everyone was pleased, everyone was celebrating. They weren't just, it wasn't just the normal 2 or 3 of them going to it. They feel more together and. That comes down to winning ultimately, but because when you're losing, you're just like Christ, here we go again. But like Bob said, it's Conte as well. He's implored that belief into them, and that's why I think going into this business end of the season, we've not really had a manager. Even that last season at White Hart Lane was probably the last season where we had it, where we were just on such a ride, but. Conte knows how to win. Conte knows what he needs, what he needs to achieve, and that's why now, I mean, what a turnaround, like you said. Nuno at the start, yes, we were top, Arsenal were bottom, but then obviously the cracks were still there, and then to go where we are now is just you wouldn't think it was the same season, and that's where the time and the players being together as well has also helped, because they've had that time. I mean, we talk about Davis, we talk about Dyer looking different players, Doherty, how he's made those players into what they weren't bad players, right? But they weren't great. But now they're, like Bob was saying, they've turned into great players. The great players have turned into world-class players, and that's when you believe in believe in the manager, believe in the plan, and everyone's bought into it, and that long may it continue, and hopefully, one of the other signings in the summer is Conte penning a new deal. So
100%. Just one on the central midfield, Chris, is in a way they showed what their importance is against Villa. I mean, the first half they were playing a bit too high, which meant that the Villa midfield was deep, and we didn't have that space. Whereas the second half, in a way, because the distance between the defence and the midfield got shorter, it meant the Villa midfield were pressing up a bit higher, which left all the spaces behind for the likes of for Decky and Kane and Sonny. And it's having that intelligence as well. They're great on the ball, but I think the intelligence that Bentancur and Højbjerg bring as well, and the experience, I think is paramount. And I don't think, again, we always pick out Winks. I don't think he's got that intelligence in him to know what to do and when to do it. In a way, by getting closer to the defence, we could bypass the midfield, but they had a role to play. And I think it just shows their importance, their intelligence in that midfield play.
Well, I always say that, can you imagine this Tottenham team with Walker and Rose as wing backs? That's how close we are to having a really, really good team. I mean, we have got a good team, but to be really challenging. And I think with Conte next season, if he gets backed and gets the players he wants, he ain't going to be happy with just going for fourth. Oh, no. He's going to win. He wants to win things, which is, I don't like going back to Pochettino, but that's what Pochettino's attitude was. No, we're
winning a trophy next season. We're 100% winning a trophy next season. 100%.
Yeah, a couple of people in the chats. Firstly, thanks so much for getting your comments in and watching. Please hit the like, please hit the subscribe. Really helps the channel, and then whack the notification bell as well. Matthew McAllister, good morning from DC, new to the channel. Love what I'm hearing. Thanks so much. Yeah, really pleased you're liking the channel, Matthew. And thanks so much for watching and taking the time to watch. Jay Ashraf, how you doing, buddy? Hope Bentancur can persuade Nunez to join us. That will obviously be left for the summer. And this comment from Mark Cousins, Bob, we need squad depth desperately. I'm not going to sit here and say, no, we don't, we're fine. But the way that he's got some people playing, such as Doherty, for example, that's 2 in midfield, 3 if you include Skip when he's back, front 3. Romero as well, who we have to sign in the summer, so he's a Spurs player next season. Do we need a lot less players now, certainly for the first 11, than we needed maybe 2 months ago? So in terms of the squad depth, he's kind of bumped that up a little bit in the fact that some players who we thought, well, they're never going to be here, that position is completely wide open. Now, isn't dead set, but we've got good players there. Yeah, and so we can now concentrate on the players that we desperately need, rather than we need a player for every position here.
Yeah, I mean, I said a few weeks ago, by taking Dyer and Davis to the next level and Doherty, he's made the squad bigger. He has. Now, but a lot of people say, oh, no, what you say, we're not going to win anything with Dyer. I'm not saying we don't improve in quality. We need someone better than a Davis. We need someone better than a Dyer. We need someone better than a Doherty. Certainly a Winks. But what it's given us is a strong squad. A confident Bergwijn gives us a bigger squad.
And exactly what Nick said as well, the spine is back again.
Yeah,
which we haven't had that for however long now.
For example, we get a quality defender in. Next season, we've got, I'm just using De Vrij as an example. We've got a Romero, Dyer and De Vrij at the back. De Vrij gets injured. You look to the bench. I'll be comfortable about Davies coming on now.
Yeah.
I'll be comfortable with the Davies.
Yeah.
And Fergie always used to keep an experienced head in and around the squad. It wouldn't always make the match day squad, but they'd always be around. And Davies is paramount. I think keeping Davies next season is absolutely paramount. Is imperative next season because we need that old experienced head. And if a Dyer, Romero, even a Romero, Dyer, or a De Vrij, whoever got injured, we're turning around and got a Davies on the bench, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
I'd be happy. Right wing back gets injured. Look over. We've got a Doherty.
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
fine.
totally agree.
Problem.
You could even say the same about Dyer at centre back.
Exactly.
If you get a decent centre back in there, a world class centre back, Dyer on the bench is brilliant. And you're not only are you improving your first team, you're improving your squad.
Yeah, and that's what Conte's done. Conte's already done that by bringing on a Doherty, a Dyer, a Davis. Skip, he was always going to confident Bergwijn. I don't think there's a place unfortunately, for the likes of Lucas. I think he's going to want to move on.
Is a problem,
but then again,
this is a problem. I think Lucas and Bergwijn, as you say, are excellent players to bring off the bench, just for adding a little bit of difference.
Yeah.
But whether they're going to be wanting to stay at the club next season, that's another thing. At the moment, you don't see him getting in our current first 11, but they're really, really handy to have on the bench. But whether they'll stay or not, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I think an important question important conversation that Bergwijn and Conte have got in the summer. We've got to remember that the Dutch players, the Belgian players, although we don't have it, but the Dutch players will want minutes because it's World Cup year and it's World Cup in November, December. So Bergwijn will want that guarantee that he's going to be featuring a lot more in the. But once we're in the Champions League, we'll have a lot more. We'll have a lot more games and Conte's going to go for the cups as well. He's going to want a League Cup or an FA Cup. So I think Bergwijn will get minutes, and I think a confident Bergwijn and let's be honest, Conte sees Bergwijn through the middle more than a Decky or a Sonny position.
What do you think of this, guys? This is from Bobby K. Stevie B linked to United with Ten Hag, who, as it seems, is pretty much nailed on to be the next United manager. Thoughts on that? I mean, I'd be really sad to see Bergwijn go. I think he was looking really confident under Jose, and then the Anfield situation with all the terrible abuse he had to endure, I think destroyed his confidence. And then he had bits and pieces where he got his confidence back, the goal against Villa, and then he got injured.
To be honest, Chris, that to me is just lazy journalism. Anyone who's a writer or anyone who's not a writer can say, hang on a minute, Dan Haig or Van Haig, he's Dutch, Bergwijn's Dutch, not getting a game. Yeah, there's the link, so I wouldn't pay any attention.
But would you be looking to sell him? Or I mean, Bob says, I want to play in the World Cup. I want to, at this moment in time where we play, he can't get ahead of Kane, Son, Kulusevski because they're just
if he wants to go, then it's no use having an unhappy player in your team. But if he's happy to stay and fight for his place, then I'd certainly as I'd keep Lucas as well.
Yeah, and a couple, one more from Bobby K. He's already complimented your name, Bob.
Great name.
Talk about what you were talking about with the squad. Spot on. Need to keep them as squad players and get players that are level to start up. And then Mark agreeing with you as well. If we're playing twice a week next year, you've got to rest players without weakening the team. So with that being said, Bob, what would you do with the goalkeeper situation? I'm not saying get Hugo out, but he's obviously got 2 years left. I think this year and another year left. So I thought when it was announced 2-year contract, that was we're getting a goalkeeper in to push him in the same way that he pushed Friedel, and when Friedel was on his way out and kind of just got in at number 1 before Friedel retired. So I see it as kind of the same way because Galini hasn't worked. So, but a premium goalkeeper, is going to cost a lot of money. With what's happened with Sean Dyche, I'm a massive fan of Nick Pope. Whether that will drag his price down, because if they do get relegated, which looks increasingly likely now with Sean Dyche gone, we linked with Sam Johnson, who's free. He's 29, so it's not really one to build up. It's not Alfie White. Brandon Austin sign a new contract. Maybe they see him as the next big thing and on the bench next season. What would you do with the goalkeeper situation?
That's the hardest one, isn't it? I mean, I think Hugo's got another seat. And I think Hugo, again, putting sentiments to one side, if he's not good enough, he's not good enough. But I'd love to see Hugo pick up lift a cup get a medal around him for his services at Spurs.
Yeah.
Remember, he could have gone as well. You know, he had a few chances to move on, but I still think he's one of the best keepers around. I'm all for Sam Johnson. I know he's 29, but he's got good 6 years in him. There's no reason why Hugo couldn't go on for another 2 or 3 years, but I wouldn't be surprised after 2 years he'd want to see his latter years out in France, in his homeland. But I'm up for Sam Johnson. I think he's underrated. The fact he plays for the lesser club, but he's and again thanks to Will, his saving statistics are very, very good, and he gets plenty of practice. He gets plenty of practice at shot stopping. So and I hate to make the comparison, but Ramsdale didn't do bad. He hasn't done bad. And what Sam Johnson got is a bit more experience. And yeah, so with regards to Bergwijn, me and Kim we call it lazy links. We do. Me and Kim do talk about other things as well. It's not constantly about Spurs. But
well,
it's lazy.
You only talk when one of you sees something on Twitter. Look, this person's leaving. Then.
That's it. No, it was like last night. It was last night.
The first conversation we had this morning was Kim was in the shower. Was like, babe, Dyson's just got sacked. That was the first thing he said.
Not good morning.
Not good morning. No, none of that. No.
Yeah, I mean, Nick, what's your thoughts on the goalkeeper situation? Obviously, Hugo's going to be leaving soon, so we need a new goalkeeper, whether that's Brandon Austin sign a new deal, Sam Johnson that we've been linked with. I wouldn't be surprised if we launch a bid next season for Pope. He's going to want to be playing in the Premier League with the World Cup coming up, and yeah, I'm not a massive fan of Pickford, but what would you do with the goalkeeper situation and the Stevie B situation as well, who also is probably going to be wanting to play because of the World Cup, but he's not getting in ahead of Kane's son, Kulusevski.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the goalkeeping department, I mean, look, Hugo for me has always been a great shot stopper, but it's the other parts where the goalkeepers have evolved, you know, like the Alissons and the Edersons of this world, right? However, is there someone out there that's setting the world on fire? Probably not. So, you know, and like Bob said, you know, Hugo's still probably got a good 2 or 3 years left in him. Goalkeepers tend to seem to be going on and on. In terms of backup, obviously Sam Johnson, yeah, I mean, much better than Galini. You know, so in terms of that, but look, one thing that I mentioned the other day or the other night was I wouldn't be opposed to going back for Gazzaniga, right? Because he loves the club, the passion that he showed. And look, he went away and he went to Fulham because he needed game time. He knew he wasn't going to get that straight away with Hugo being there. When he came in, he didn't really put a foot wrong, you know. So
yeah, he had a couple of mistakes, didn't he? Which I guess all goalkeepers have, and Hugo's not averse to that himself. It's only really Alisson, I guess, who doesn't really these days.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be adverse to, you know, because obviously he's gonna, you know, you look at Fulham are probably going to come up and then they'll probably go back down again, and then that might be the time that, you know, that so we sit there and say to Gazzaniga to come back, you know, that, I mean, that's, but you never know. You never know what, I think we've missed the boat. We missed the boat on Schmeichel, Oblak's getting on and not going anywhere from Atletico, you know, and to be fair, we've been very fortunate to have someone like Hugo, a World Cup winning captain in our team. And like Bob said, you know, it'd be great to see him lift something, you know, that would just be, you know, just the pinnacle for him, you know, just for the service that he's given us, because he could have come and, you know, many times kind of left, gone off to United or done, you know, kind of gone away from us. And I just think that, you know, he's been a servant for the club.
Mark agrees with you. He rated Gazzaniga as well.
And I think on the Stevie B thing, yeah, I think it's just. Oh look, there's the manager coming over from Holland. He's going to go to Man United. Oh, there's a story there.
That's exactly what Brad said 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. So it's just. I think it's. I think look, at the moment it's. You know, I think it's what are we? We're 2 weeks away from season ticket deadline day. You know, so all this news and stuff is going to be flying around. obviously there was that tweet last night about Martinez, Botman, and De Vrij Skriniar available from Inter. Look, I think we're used to this. I think we're not going to start getting excited. And like Bob always says, until they're holding that shirt up a Hotspur way, there's no point looking into it. But there's going to be, there's going to be more. The more that we're kind of the way that we're playing in the, fourth place and Champions League, and there'll be that he wants to choose Tottenham or Arsenal. Who's he going to choose? Well, Tottenham have, we're going to have all of this in the next few weeks and months, and especially when the transfer window open. And so I think we just need to just see, like you said, we and everyone said we are going to need to improve that squad, and we're going to improve that depth. I think, does Stevie B want to go just to play? I mean, he's getting selected anyway, even though he's not getting much game time.
And scoring goals as well, isn't he? He scored a fair few in the international break.
Yeah. So realistically, you kind of, there's always that thing where you think, he's not playing, and then he, I just think that they need to take a decision. Would I be upset if we lost Stevie B, Lucas, even Reguilon? Would I be upset? No, if it meant that we went out and got the right players. And like we've all said, we don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of pounds. For example, if Stevie B did go to United for 20 million and we went and got Tielemans, I'd be a lot happier that, and that's a £5 million difference over the course of their contract, which is nothing. So yeah, look, we need to be smart. We can't go out and go, let's go and spend 57 million on one for the future, or like a Lo Celso or Ndombele, and and look at kind of that's all kind of panned out. We could easily spend 60, 70 million on 4 quality players that are experienced, and there's obviously that little rumour of Mr. Bale apparently coming back as well. So you never know.
Is he coming back? I'd take him for squad depth. Brad, firstly with Lloris, do you see, like Bob says, he's got a few years left in him. Do you see him taking those few years with us, or do you think, like Bob said, contract is up and then I want to finish in France, or do you see him 3-4 years with Spurs? And then secondly, would you take Bale back?
Okay, first on Lloris, he took a 2-year extension, didn't he? Which I presume means this season and next season, which sort of indicates to me, one, that the club obviously don't want to give a player of his age a long contract, or it might be that he said, well, yeah, I love it here, but I do want to eventually end up in France, whatever. That to me says, now I obviously can't speak on behalf of Sam Johnston, but Sam Johnston is 29, as Bob says. You could quite say, well, look, you're going to come to a club in the Premiership, hopefully the Champions League, 60,000 people every couple of weeks, Conte as your manager, and a goalkeeper that probably will be returning to France in a season or so. So how do you, we can, to use the word groom the player to become our next goalkeeper and play him in the League Cup, play him in the FA Cup, that sort of thing. And you got your ready-made goalkeeper. I think Brandon Austin, and I do like Alfie Whiteman, what I saw in pre-season friendlies, but I think they're still young, so I think you still keep them.
A couple of loan deals.
Loan them out, keep them as a third, that sort of thing. As far as Bale's concerned, and this is becoming a cliche now, if Conte wants him, then yeah, I'm all for it. My romantic and sentimental side says, yeah, I'd love to see Bale playing at the new stadium. I mean, that was one of the things about last season, seeing him score those goals in an empty stadium, So I'd love to see him play for Tottenham one more time. Again, talking about backup, he would be good to have on the bench. You got Kulusevski setting the world on fire. Bring him off. Bring Bale on.
And what a player that Kulusevski would be able to learn from.
Exactly. Now, whether Bale wants to do that with, as you say, World Cup year, I don't know. But yeah,
I think Bale could not play any football from now until November.
He's still playing the World Cup. Yes, it's true.
He's in that Wales team. He ain't being left out there.
Yeah. So get back to the question: do I want Bale? Sentimentally, romantically, yes, I do. But realistically, if Conte wants him, I'm not sure Bale can fit into the Conte system, and Nick and Bob probably know more than I do on that sort of thing. But to have him as a backup for Kulusevski, wow, that'll be some backup. So in that regards, I say yes. So if Conte does want him and knows he can fit him into a team, into a squad, then yes. And obviously Bale's got European experience as well. So yeah, no, I'd definitely say yes in that regard.
And, I'll ask you the same question, Bob. But firstly, Nick, you're in trouble from Bobby K. Stop talking sense. Levy doesn't make sense. Hopefully, Conte sorts him out. We will know in a few months. But yeah, Bob, in terms of Bale, would you take him back? Would he come back? I mean, obviously, like what a person to learn from for Kulusevski, and even Son and Kane could learn from him as well. And a winner in a team. So almost Conte's player in chief. And also Bobby K's asked about him. Does he have the legs to work in a Conte system? So yeah, what's your view on the whole Bale situation, or is it just lazy journalism again because season ticket deadline day 2 weeks away?
No, I think us and Cardiff are in the running to sign him, but I'm going to say something unique now. If Conte wants him, I do believe he can fit into the system. He won't bring the legs that Adeki and Sonny will, but I do think he can play down the left. But I don't think we should poo-poo anyone who doesn't fit into the system, because we need the number 8s in our squad. We need someone who can bring something different when we need a formation change. So I'm not for the idea if a player doesn't fit into the system, we shouldn't be looking at him. I think we need variation. But, putting the romanticism to one side, Bale would make any squad better. But we do need to look at his mindset as well. With it being a World Cup year, I think he'd want to put on a few performances. Plus, he's coming back to a club he was at a year or so ago, so he probably wouldn't need that bedding in period. The only thing that worries me about Bale is the physical side. How long will he need? If we get him early enough, get a pre-season in, then yeah, all the better. I'll be up for Bale coming back because he has got quality. 2 goals for Wales against showed his quality.
Yeah. And Nick, for you, obviously, if he played on the left side, Kulusevski, he showed with Jose, maybe it was Jose telling him not to, but he didn't track back, which is something that Kulusevski has done fantastically well, certainly when you've got Emerson or Doherty there, who defensively aren't the greatest. So for me, if he came back, I think it would probably be more as an impact kind of sub on those areas, and for the team, and then, playing the full game in League Cup and FA Cup and what have you. But would you have him back, or do you think he'd come back, or do you think the wages would be an issue? And Mark said, we've bought a golf club next to the training grounds. We will be prepared for him to come back.
Yeah, so when we were moaning about why has he bought a golf club, this is the long-term aim.
Yeah, up here.
Yeah, look, I think I'd have him back in a heartbeat, like Brad was saying. I've never had the or been fortunate enough to watch Bale live, and to come on. I think we were all talking about it the other night. Oh, I'd love Bale to come on and smash Chelsea the other night. Score a worldie like he did against Liverpool. When he came on and bang that overhead free kick. He's the type of player that if we're talking about impact off the bench with 20 minutes to go. And he could play all along the front three, so it's not just necessarily Decky. Obviously that's his preferred position, but if needed, he could play, anywhere in that top 3. And I think, like we've all said, if he makes it better, he makes the squad better. That there's the romantic part about it, but could you imagine Champions League, set, last 16 quarterfinal, we need a goal, Bale comes on under the lights. That would just be, I got goosebumps now just talking about it. Do you know what I mean? So
tissues.
Don't need a crinkly tissue, Brad, but yeah. But that's the type of thing that you kind of take yourself back to. He's, if we talk about Lloris, him wanting to win a trophy. Imagine Bale coming back, and it will just be like the kind of final chapter in his career. Do you know what I mean? He goes off to the World, goes off to the World Cup, does whatever, comes back, and then we win that trophy, and it would just be incredible. It'd be like fairy tales written all over for Kane, for Lloris, for Bale. because like what happened at the start, we didn't win a game for 24 games or something ridiculous or something when he was in the side. And to see him develop from that left wing, that left back to then the left wing back to the attacker, just it would be great. And there's the same sort of romanticism around Eriksen as well. Again, if if Conte wants him, if you thought those two come back on a free, we've got their wages, but that's two players that instantly make the squad better, right? And I know there's the whole thing around Eriksen wanting to leave and the way he left and what have you, but hey, if those two came in and then we got another 3 or 4 players, then God Almighty, it won't be just the cup we're winning. We'll be challenging for that Premier League. I firmly believe it.
It's all about, for me, like I said, I couldn't care less if we spend money or don't spend money. As long as it comes out at the end, we've got the players that Conte wants when Conte wants them, players out that Conte wants out, and when he wants them out. That's all that matters. Like Brad said, it's become a cliche, but it's true. He's the manager, he's employed to get the results, so you get him the players that he wants. But Brad, coming back to the game on Saturday, we've all said that it's going to be a Spurs win, some more emphatically than others. But there are 2 teams playing in this game, and they're not a bad team, Brighton, so they do have some danger men. But for you, who are the danger men? For me, I'm a big fan of Trossard and Maupay. I think if Maupay was in that 16-17 team for us, he'd have scored a hat full of goals. It's just not necessarily the clear-cut chances that he always gets for Brighton, even though they create a lot of chances. And any team, really, who have a tall defender, when they put a cross in from set pieces, is going to cause us problems because seemingly we can't defend them. Although I thought against Villa, we were a lot better than we have been in recent games. But yeah, for you, the Brighton danger men that we have to...
Well, I must admit, I don't know too much about them, but I do, the players you mentioned. Who's that player that scored that brilliant goal against Arsenal?
And Maupay.
Yeah, he certainly looking at the highlights, which I mean, you can probably make me look great in highlights, but yeah, he looked really, really good, and I think that would be a player to watch out for on Saturday. But as I said, I don't really know a lot about Brighton. Set pieces, yeah, we've still got a problem with that, I think.
I thought we looked a lot better against Villa with them, other than the Coutinho one where he's tried to catch out Loris. I can't remember them winning too many headers, I guess like that.
I guess they must have been, since the West Ham goal. I think they would have been probably practicing. As I've always said, when you get to tactics, you want to do it up here. You want to do it without thinking. Do it instinctively. I call it a mental muscle memory. And I think with more and more coaching, especially, I read the other day that they're now spending a lot more time on videos of games because they've got the time during the week to do it than they did before when we were playing 2 games every week. So you're hoping that, they're starting to know where they should be, who they should be marking, what they should be doing, where they should be in certain times. And that's becoming instinctive, which is why going back to keeping the same 11 or more or less the same 11 for the rest of the season, to me, is very important. But, I mean, as I said before, we can't underestimate Brighton. I'm confident we're going to win, but I think we need to be, we're not going to just turn up and win. But then again, this is a mentality Conte is breeding in their players. You've got to go out there and win the game. You haven't got 3 points given to you just for turning up. So I'm confident in that respect.
Yeah, before we come on to Bob and Nick for that, a couple of comments. Mark has said, after Bale destroyed Maicon, I did a 500-mile round trip to get scuffed at Bolton, and he never played. And in terms of the transfers, Bobby K has said, sorry, lads, I think we should look at players that can contribute, not players that can come on for the last 15 minutes. I love Bale and Christian Eriksen, but taking my emotions out, I think we can get better. I'd agree with Bale there, but Eriksen's playing every game for Brentford at the moment. And I work with a guy who's a Brentford season ticket holder, and what he said, which you can see watching the games, is Ivan Toney is now making runs into the box because Christian Eriksen is playing. And can you imagine Kane not having to track back and drop into midfield because he's got Eriksen doing that? And he was, take his last season out where, the issues that Nick talked about, he was so disciplined as well. The amount of running he was doing, whether he can do that again, 10,000 kilometres a game, I'm not sure. But And from what Bob and Nick and Brad were all saying, it's free. So then you can go and buy out the players that you want, that can contribute, that you are confident can contribute. But you've got Christian Eriksen to come off the bench if it's not going well, and Bale, and 5 subs as well next year as well. So there's even more opportunity to change games. And Iggy, how you doing, buddy?
Big up, Iggs.
Hi, Iggy.
But yeah, Bob, Brighton's danger men for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was Mwepu, not Mwepu, my fault. But it's a Trossard like yourself. Gross is a good midfield player. They've got some quality there as well. I think Welbeck and Maupay might cause a few problems. It's our right hand side, and I mean, I'm gonna hold my hands up. You know, I've probably been the biggest critic of Emerson. I gave him a 5 out of 10 after he scored against Newcastle, and but I'll be honest.
Everyone's a critic these days.
Yeah, I know. But I'll be honest. I did think, and I thought, you know, am I being a bit too harsh? So, hands up. I watched the Newcastle game closely, and Emerson played, and the Villa game, Emerson, and hands up. I stick by my guns. He's shit. It just confirmed.
No, Bob.
We need to back him. Of course, what Emerson brings is heart.
Do you think there's an element of he's young, so he could get better, or do you think
hopefully? You know,
I mean, because there is an element as well. When we bought Doherty, he obviously impressed really well as a wing back at Wolves. We brought him in. Jose played him as a right back, whereas Emerson was played as a right back, brought in with Nuno, I suppose, so it was a right back. But now he's being played as a wing back. So it's slightly, I mean, they're not massively dissimilar. It's not like going from a goalkeeper to a striker, but there are differences there. And I thought with Emerson against City, when I don't think he went past the halfway line. It's just concentrate on defending. I thought he was superb there. He obviously had Kulusevski who was helping him, and that must give him a lot of confidence knowing that if I do get caught, I've got someone here rather than if I get caught, oh my God, it's a chance of a goal. Whereas at Southampton, when it's go forward, think about that, then defend, and you don't have someone backing you, he was awful and his concentration went. So do you think he can get better, or do you think this is kind of as good as we're going to get with the 5 out of 10?
No. I think I hope he turns out to be the best right wing back in the world. I really do. And putting all jokes aside, you know, he's not shit. He's a Spurs player. He's one of the best. He's one of our own right now. So we need to back him. And I'm being a bit hypocritical. I can't big up Conte and say he's the best out there, and then question his decision to play an Emerson at right back, so a right wing back. So, you know, all joking aside, we need to back him. He is a try. He does give it his all. Unfortunately, the quality just isn't right there.
I totally agree with that.
But it will, hopefully, if Conte can make the likes of Adar and Davies and Doherty better, certainly once Emerson gets a few minutes in, he can improve. But I'm not going to lie, it does worry me. You know, Villa made a point of attacking our right-hand side, knowing full well that Emerson there, and I still
that's where Kulusevski is even more important, isn't it?
I think Romero's more important, Chris, because I think Romero covers Emerson over and over again, and when and Ramsey went through, and Emerson was just a statue, and Lloris made that world-class save. You know, it does worry me, but against Brighton, we've got enough quality throughout the rest of the team, and Emerson possibly as well, to get the better and win out comfortably. But yeah, Brighton, I think they'll bring a bit of confidence into the game after beating Arsenal. But let's be honest, we're miles ahead of Arsenal right now, in respect of form and the way we're playing and the way we set up at home. We've got the beating of everyone and anyone, and Brighton ain't going to hold any form of challenge.
Yeah, and Nick, in terms of their danger men for you, is it the same guys we've mentioned, or?
Yeah, and then I mean, look, I think that, you know, there's obviously their wing backs, Cucurella and Lamptey, could cause us some problems. But like Bobby said, I think, you know, being at home, then we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow, because there's the if Emerson plays tomorrow, then he'll be playing the rest of the season. But there is that question mark whether Cess will play at right back like he used to for Fulham, and Reggie will play on the left. So we'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, we just, there's the amount of games that we've got left. We just need to support everyone that's on that pitch. It's stood us in good stead the last 7 of the last 9 games. And even then, really, apart from Ronaldo, that Man U game's different. So, we'll be too strong for them. And I don't think, like we've always said, and I think the last few weeks going there, we get that early goal, then we're just going to run riot. But even when we don't get the early goal, you look at like Newcastle, we went behind and we had that test. We were all sitting there thinking, is this where it's going to the wheels are going to start coming off?
And a huge test in that first half against Villa as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that was constant pressure for at least 25 minutes.
Yeah, and and the Spurs, I think we've all said it as well. A Spurs team 2 or 3 years ago would have crumbled and gone in 3-1, 4-1 at half time, and the game would have been done. And I think that's the belief that the players have got through Conte and them being as a team and really, really working together, and they've had that time. So yeah, look, we've had those tests, and look, there'll be some more tests to come. We need to be in. We've got through Romero not getting his booking, so his suspensions are clear. We just need to keep the players fit, injury free, and support them. And there's no reason why we can't win the rest of the games to the end of the season.
Yeah, and we've mentioned Romero there. I mean, absolutely superb. He's been potentially made Dyer and Davies look even better. Bob's already mentioned about Emerson and him helping him. He's got to curb the kind of attitude a little bit. I mean, certainly West Ham, he got in someone's face, but he is young. But I loved against Villa, I can't remember who it was, when the guy tried to run around him and he just blocked him off and just looked at him like, what are you fucking complaining about? This is football. But how good can that guy be? Because we have to buy him in the summer. That's part of the deal. So he's a permanent Spurs player. As of next, well, he already is, isn't he? Because we have to buy him. But yeah, I mean, how good can that guy be?
That is really, and look, don't get me wrong, I think that the football club asking for season ticket money by April 29th is absolutely disgraceful. Let me put that out there right away. But I worked it out. That works out at about £45 million that the club are going to be getting. That pays your Kulusevski, that pays your Romero. So maybe that's the reasoning behind it. Although I think it's more that they're just greedy bastards. But yeah, if you look at it that way, then yeah.
Well, what you've done, Brad, is you've just given them the excuse on here now. They might not have thought of that. but Bob, Romero, how good can that guy be?
Yeah, I've been going. My links between Romero and Kleenex has been going on since last October. I've bigged him up. I described him as a dog last October when there was only, I don't think we were even linked with him. I've rated him for God knows how long. Brian Daigle will know messages after messages ages ago about this kid, this guy who, he's going to be the best defender in the world. He's really got the potential to be the best, and it just shows when he wants to, tailor it in a bit and not get a yellow card. He has got it in him as well. He had to go the Villa game and without getting a yellow card, and the Brighton game without a yellow card to not get a suspension. He managed the Villa game without a yellow. Well, he's gone a few games without a yellow now.
3 in a row, yeah.
So he has got it in him to play that sensible and still be quality and be one of our best players. He's going to be hands down the best defender in the world. I do believe that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely superb business and young as well. Got Conte there who has got a history of coaching young players. But yeah, Bobby Kay says, Nick, the mentality and Hugo are the reason we didn't go into the half down, talking about the Villa game. Love seeing a display like that by Hugo. Hopes it gives him a massive boost going into the end of the season. Just hopefully his concentration stays. But in terms of Romero, I mean, it's almost like we got rid of Lamela, got him in. It's someone who's got a bit of bite. There was one game earlier in the season, I can't remember who it was against, but Emerson went down and someone kicked the ball and it hit his head or back. Yeah. And the players just were like, well, Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas we've seen the Battle of the Bridge and everything Lamela did, and there's kind of like not a siege mentality, but they're all in it together. And Romero seems to have taken it upon himself to do
Imagine
that. So
Romero at the Battle of the Bridge.
Oh,
Oh my God!
well, I'm pretty sure he'd have been arrested, but
Yeah.
might have said enough. But but it's almost brought that kind of team mentality kind of back him there, and I mean he puts like Spanish or Portuguese, I'm not sure what language he speaks, on Instagram about the game, and it translates as something like "Let's go kill them" or something.
Yeah. Can I just say, don't under a lot of people are saying, Romero's brought the best out of Dyer. Don't underestimate what Dyer's brought to Romero's game as well. There's a reason why Conte trusts Dyer in the middle of the back three, and he's a talker.
Yeah.
One thing we noticed during lockdown, or certainly during lockdown, was how much Dyer talks. Yeah. And I think he's brought on Romero's game as well. And I think it becomes a bit fashionable, doesn't it, to diss on Dyer and take the piss out of him.
Yeah. To back that up, Bob, where I sit at the ground, I'm sort of level with the back line in one, obviously on one half. And you can see him talking and organising.
I bet, mate.
Yeah. So that's a good point.
Yeah. What do you think of Romero, Nick, and Dyer as well, and certainly that back three together, and Hugo there as well. Generally, the two wing backs. Well, it's given us a kind of basis of they're always playing. Whereas when Jose was chopping and changing, no one knows what they're doing. But in terms of we obviously need reinforcements there. But Romero in particular has been absolutely superb, has he not?
Yeah, I mean, I saw him. I think the first game I went to, it was Paco Ferreira or Ferreira Rocher. And Romero, just like you were just sat there and just like in awe of him. Like he was, putting in challenges. It was rough and ready. He was, he was driving up to the middle of the park, driving up front. You could tell that he was, he was going to be something special. And he's, like you say, the last few games he started to, develop that disciplinary side of him, where he knows that, he can't afford to get 2 more bookings. He's not been booked in 3 games, so he's learning. But you think about Richarlison, you think about Ings, you think about San Maxim. You think about all these players. Antonio, yeah. You think about
Antonio. He basically forced Moyes to take Antonio off by not allowing him to turn. And
all those players that have got more experience, especially Antonio, Richarlison, and in that kind of, and that type of thing. And he's just literally just destroyed them and made them kind of invisible. And they're having to change. He's forcing the opposition to change the way they're playing and move players to different side of the pitch. And then obviously it's then affecting their game, and they're having to. I mean, it was Richarlison was the best one. That he moved him across to the other side to give him about a 5-minute break, and then it obviously wasn't working, so I had to move it back. And Richarlison's face was like, "Oh fuck, I've got to go over that side again," So the back three and the front three at the moment, they're all firing. Those 6 are firing on all cylinders, and it's just a pleasure to see. And I think we just need to, like you said, we have got the backup. But Dyer, okay, we saw the difference, having Sanchez in there, Tanganga in there. They need those other players with experience, and let's not forget, right? Dyer hasn't been a centre back for all his career, so it's not as if he's he's been there and he knows it, right? And it's also, like Bobby said, Romero's also brought his game on because he knows what he needs to do. He knows he needs to be responsible. He knows he needs to command them all, and that's allowed the either side to kind of, obviously that then rubs off on Davis, because he doesn't need to be worrying about because sometimes I guess at the start Davis was worrying. You see him like he was always like that, looking around. What do I need to do? Where should I be? And he's comfortable in on that left side of that 3. Yes, we need to upgrade it, but it's like they've brought the best out of each other. They all feel comfortable. Who would, when we were sat there, thinking, Ben Davis is playing, his name's on the score sheet. He's scoring bloody goals. He's doing all sorts now. You know what I mean? So, we wouldn't want him coming off. If we got there tomorrow and they saw Ben Davies was playing, we're like, what? Why is Ben Davies not playing? That's outrageous,
I have to say that I was never one of the Ben Davies haters. I never said he was absolutely brilliant, but I always thought he was a really decent player to have in your squad that would do a job.
Yeah.
I think Romero. The thing about Romero is I mean, you've got a lot of tough tackling defenders, but Romero seems to read the game so well, and his time is like impeccable. It's just this player is 24, already won Defender of the Year in Italy, and now setting certainly the Tottenham Premiership alight. So if this guy, and he said, I think in an interview that he said, if you take away all the aggression and all that thing, what's the point in playing? So so I mean, I remember back to the days. Well, when I was actually living in Australia, but players like Graham Roberts, what they used to bring to the team, and even going back further, players like Dave Mackay. So these players, I mean, a really integral part of any decent team.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby Kay as well with Romero. He's been great as of late, and only improving that ball out from the back for Son's goal was fantastic. I mean, it was a fairly good ball, but like Bob said earlier, you don't really expect Kane to play a pinpoint through ball with his head. But then Romero probably knows that Kane's probably done it in training that he can do that, so you're playing to his advantages there. Danny Kiriakou in the chat, how you doing, buddy? Paddy Hartnett.
Danny Kiriakou. Sorry, I have to do that.
Paddy Hartnett, there's a family feel in the squad again that I did not see since the pot days. They all seem to be fighting for each other, and that's a joy to see again. Absolutely. And it showed, I think, after the Villa game, Emerson was dancing, Højbjerg was dancing, they were all cheering, clapping the fans, whereas we've seen in the bad days this season and before, they just walk off. I can't remember what the game was. I think it might have been the last game of last season. It was only a couple of players who stayed out and clapped the fans. Whereas now, absolutely. And it's got to be Conte. It's got to be Conte. And the players responding to Conte.
Well, Conte himself goes onto the pitch, doesn't he, at the end, Chris? And hugs everyone.
And on Conte, how good is it to see a manager that when we score doesn't go like...
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, the passion
I think there's one thing that's really bugging Conte right now, and I bet you, but he'd love to give Chelsea a game right now.
Yeah,
he'd love to play Chelsea right now.
Yeah,
he'd absolutely love that. I think that really, really gripes him, and he can't wait to the next song.
I don't know stat wise, but I wonder if there's anyone in the chat can do this. I wonder what our average amount of points since Conte has been in charge. If you put it over a whole season, how many points would we end up with?
Yeah, I mean, the passion there can only filter through to the players.
Yeah, exactly.
And the fans as well. I mean, the deafening noise of the Antonio chant is, you don't really hear that loud anymore. No. But long may it continue.
With regards to Conte, I mean, you say, bro, do you all think there were possibly, we could have or should have won at least 3 more games this season? We think Man United, we think Southampton, and possibly another. If we won 3 more games, we'd be 1 point behind City.
Yeah.
So it's
crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
I actually thought the Chelsea game, the one where Ziyech scored that belter, I thought we were good value in that first half.
I was in a coma, but I was in a coma, mate. I missed that one. So sorry.
So Bob, if you'd come out of your coma earlier, we could be going into the league. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 7 wins in 9 since. 7 wins in 9
essentially, since. It was Jose ball, just play deep and play on the counter attack. But we scored a perfectly good goal, which was But the plan was working there. Essentially 1-0 up, and then we got caught out. He made a mistake by not taking Tanganga off because he was on a booking, and then they targeted him straight from the off. We obviously didn't have Kulusevski there and no one to track back. But I didn't think we played that bad. Whereas now we seem to have a free-flowing kind of
I think
way that we're playing, and we just got to keep that going. And like we said earlier, I think if we can play like that, certainly with what we did at home, I think Liverpool will be wary of committing to, and if Klopp plays his suicide tactics again of losing the ball and only having 2 defenders back, we're going to get chances again.
I think it's quite easy to say what if, but if you look at the 3 games, I thought at 2-2 we were going to win the Man United game. I thought we were going to, and to be fair, we probably lost it because of one player's brilliance.
Yeah, exactly.
we lost at home to Southampton after being 2-1 up. We lost at home to Wolves, and we lost at Burnley.
Wolves
We never
got going at all.
Yeah.
But then I guess one of those is counteracted by the win at Man City, so they will counteract it. But certainly two of those games, if we can win one of those games, I mean, certainly against Southampton, 2-1 up.
Yeah.
But then again, we didn't play well on those two games. Wolves and Southampton both deserved to beat us. And I actually got a train home after the Southampton game. There were 3 Southampton fans on there. And honestly, hearing them talk, it was like that was the best night of their life. You know? Winning. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're definitely hitting the form at the right time. We just got to carry it on. So with that being said, we'll start with you, Nick. How will the game pan out and your predictions? I can't give a prediction that's in the score because it's too much tempting fate. And if I get it right, I haven't been to Ladbrokes and I've lost out on money. But I think we will win. And if Brighton decide to let Kane, Son, Kulusevski, Bentancur, if he plays, have space, we could kill them. Certainly if we get that first goal. If they get the first goal and then sit back, it'll be a tight one, but I still think we've got enough to win. But how do you think the game will pan out and the predictions?
I think at the moment, as much as we didn't want a game in the week and then a game at the weekend, we're excited. I mean, it was yesterday and I was getting overexcited, and today I'm overexcited because it's been a bank holiday and everything else. I just can't wait. Like tomorrow come kickoff, I might be asleep because I would have used all my energy up. But look, I think I mean, I would say it could be a cricket score, right? I firmly believe it. If we go there and we start off and we go like if we transfer the last 2 second halves into the first half, we could blow them away and be 4-5-0 up by half time. And I jokingly said 7-0, but if we start like that, there's no reason to say that it couldn't be. I've kind of reined myself in a little bit and calmed down, but I think it'll be a 3-0 win. Another 3 goals on our goal difference, the thing is, it's Easter weekend, so the weather's nice. People are going to be in a great mood. So please, Tottenham, don't ruin it.
And Brad, how do you see it panning out? I mean, this is a time. 7-0 would be nice, although we then get all of our goals out in one. I remember the Wigan game scoring 9. We didn't score for 3 games, so you've got to share your goals out. But this is a time where it's just about winning. So if it has to be an ugly 2-1, it's an ugly 2-1. It's still 3 points.
Can I make a point? Can I make a point? I'm confident we can win on Saturday. The game against Villa, all 4 goals were pinpoint accurate into the corners. They were so good. Sometimes you'll hit a good shot and it will hit the post or go wide. So some days you get the right. Don't get me wrong, they were great goals and the team played well, especially in the second half. But sometimes you get the luck and the ball, that great shot will go in rather than go wide. So we must be aware that could happen against Brighton or anyone for that matter. So the talk of 5-0, 6-0, if you have that sort of luck go against you, you don't win those games. Having said that, I poo-pooed everyone when they said we beat Newcastle 4 or 5. I pooh-pooed everyone when they said we beat Villa 4 or 5. So I'm going to poo-poo them now.
Poo-poo me now, Brad, and when we win 7-0,
now, yeah. But yeah, I'm confident we'll win. But don't be surprised if it's one of those games where we try and things like quite work off and we hit goalkeeper plays a brilliant game, whatever. But I still think we can win.
Yeah, and Bob, I'm pretty sure I know your score prediction, but I'll ask anyway. And in terms of the game, do you see Brighton coming out for us or sitting back and trying to play counter-attack? Because I think if they come out for us and there's gaps there, Kane, Son, Kulu can have like Nick says, a field day.
Yeah, they could do whatever they want. We'll still beat them. No doubt. But Brighton can bring their A game. If we bring our A game, there's only one winner. I said that against Villa as well.
Yeah.
I'll be very surprised, Brad, if we made it hard work. I really would. The way we're playing, the confidence that we're showing, the momentum, the mindset. Everyone's integrating the team has all integrated their the same mindset as a Conte, and what Conte's been saying in the press conferences. You know, when we smell blood, we must go in for the kill. Yesterday, yesterday he said,
Romero will be translating that and putting that on Instagram.
Yeah, it will be.
12 o'clock tomorrow.
I think Romero will literally be doing that. I can smell blood. He will. But we'll take that literally. But even yesterday, you know, people, there was a question: how do you think you're going to cope with the pressure? And he goes, "Good. We won the pressure. A team like Spurs needs to play with pressure.
Yeah.
If we didn't have pressure, we'd be doing shit." I'll paraphrase, of course. I think we're finally growing with the pressure. I think we're going to the next level because of the pressure. And I think someone mentioned earlier, Kane's in his element because he wants to be the leader, although he doesn't have the captain's armband, but he's a leader on the pitch, just like a Dyer. They want to be taking Spurs to that full comfortable win tomorrow, 4-1, easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Well, we've scored 12 goals without Kane scoring, am I right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's incredible. He's due for a cold edge.
I think he scored 1 in 12. He's scored 9 goals without him scoring the last 2 games.
Yeah. It's why Pep hasn't called us the Harry Kane team for a little while. But Bob, you make a real good point there with the leaders on the pitch. Back in the Poch days, we had the Lloris as the captain. You had Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Wanyama, Dembele.
Exactly. Dembele was a leader in himself, wasn't he? He led by example.
Yeah, whereas under Jose and Nuno, we had Lloris and Kane, and for part of that, Kane didn't look interested. And now you've just mentioned 3. With Lloris, Højbjerg, another one. We've got leaders over the pitch, and then obviously a tremendous one in the bench.
And also with a win over Brighton, we'll put a 6-point gap before Arsenal kick off. Yeah. And Arsenal have 3 games before we play again.
That pressure on Arsenal is imperative. So in a way, it would be better to rather win out 6-0 like Bobby Kay says, and Southampton to win. That would obviously be amazing. But in a way, it would be better to win really ugly, playing bad, and winning 2-1 to say to Arsenal, well, even if we play terribly, we're going to win anyway. So it's over to you now, and you have to beat us at White Hart Lane. But obviously, we don't want that. We don't want any stress. We just want a fairly comfortable win. Yeah. I think we'll win. And it just depends on how much how kind of allow our players to. But what we've got now, even if they try and mark Kane, Son, Kulu out of the game, you've got 3 players there who can drag players all over the pitch. It used to be last season just Kane drags the defender deep. Whereas now it's all 3 of them dragging out, and then you've got Bentancur, you've got Højbjerg, you've got the wing backs as well. So we've got and we've got goals all over the pitch again. No longer is it just with Kane and Son don't score, we're screwed. We got not Bentancur, Emerson, Doherty, Reguilon scoring goals, and it wouldn't surprise me if Bentancur gets a goal tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, we just have to win, put that pressure on Arsenal, and if it puts too much pressure on Chelsea as well, then that's a bonus.
Comfortable win tomorrow. Comfortable win.
Yeah. Well, I hope so, yeah. And we pretty much reached the end there. Thanks, all 3 guys, for you to coming on. Absolutely great having you on. Before we go, there are 2 Spurs channels. And Brad, your music channel?
I've got two songs now that have been videoed and possibly ready to go. So
wow,
awesome. We'll see. Don't get me wrong; they're not brilliant, but they're as good as I can get it for the time being. So
so you've got Brad's Twitter handle there; it's in the description as well, at Brad Hotspur. So follow him on the Twitter, and you'll get the
click and like for these guys as well, everyone.
Excellent, thank you very much. And we'll come to you last, Barry, or Nick rather, because there's a story behind your channel. But Bob Spur TV, absolutely fantastic that it's back. Another show tomorrow. Where can people find it?
Yeah, Bob Spur TV YouTube got In the Wall again tomorrow night, 10:45. Be speaking about the Spurs game, the rest of the Premier League game as always. Obviously looking at Arsenal. We're going to touch on Gaza, the best player I've ever seen play live, and obviously with this documentary out this week, we're touching on that. Talking about who we vote as the best pundit, not co-commentators, best pundit, football irritations, media watch. Might touch on conspiracy theories again, but that'll be In the Wall. It's a Tottenham away special, so we've got Iggy, Stell, JP, and the two American boys, which I'll be interested to see what they think of Gaza, because obviously they hadn't seen him play live, and let's just say they're a younger generation. So I'd be interested to see what their thoughts are on Gaza. And then, as usual, an hour or so in, I'll put the link out, and hopefully to see these beautiful faces and Brad on the channel.
I might make another drug appearance like I did last week.
Oh, you were pissed, mate. That was so funny. One of Brad's stories last week was, I remember when I went to, that was it. It was something like that. It was something like that. It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
I just remember having a rant at Alex.
Yeah. I think everyone does. Everyone does.
Yeah, make sure you check Bob Spur in the wall tomorrow. Obviously, follow Bob Spur on Twitter. That's in the description as well.
No, before you do that, you need to subscribe to this channel. Very underrated. One of the most underrated channels out there, and get it. And you got specific times as well, so there's no reason to miss it as well.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Nick. What are you doing on your? Why? I don't understand this obsession. I don't understand this obsession. If we get to a certain amount of subscribers, one of the people has to injure themselves. And for anyone who don't know, there's a super hot chip, and for someone who had a Vogan Josh made for him, and it was like he was having a shower and that was with coconut milk in and milk it in as well. I don't understand what. But anyway, firstly. If you didn't watch it yesterday, go and hit Shelfside Spurs up, where Nick will tell you where you can find that in a second. For Vez, I still don't know why he did it. One of the funniest comments on there was from Bob. Never mind Vez, his shitter is shitting himself. Tell us a bit about Shelfside Spurs and where people can find it.
So it was a funny show last night. It was kind of a little bit all over the place. So we had Ben on from We Are Tottenham TV doing his White Hart Memory Lane. I have to say as well, with the countdown, you were enjoying it a bit too much.
Yeah, it was.
In a lot of pain. Yeah, I was enjoying it. I mean, I did set it. I was thinking, can I set it a little bit longer? And I was like, oh no, I can't. His reaction is dribbling, snot coming out, crying, sweating. It was just crazy.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch. Although after about 2 minutes, I was thinking, Christ, maybe you've gone a bit too far here.
when he reached for the bin, and he thought he was going to be sick.
At the end of the show,
I laughed even louder.
Well, I mean, he was saying afterwards, he goes, it wouldn't have been good. And I said, it would have been good. We'd have got more views.
Think of all those subs. All the subs.
So we've obviously, me and Rez did the watch along last week, which helped jump the subscribers massively. We're 41 away from 500. Wow. So just like with Bob Spur, we need to get Bob Spur to 2,000. If we can get us to 500 and then on the way to 1,000, then there's a few more watch-alongs to happen. So maybe we can do something silly. And I think I'm the next one that's going to have something against me. And too right, because I was the one that stitched him up because he brought it to the studio, and I was like, right, well, if we get 500, you do it now or live on air. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should have said that. So, but no, you can find us. Mondays, 10 o'clock, Tottenham Tea and Toast with me and Alan. We normally do a review of the weekend's games and kind of the back pages, gossips, listening to Alan and how many issues he's had with his health during the week. And then on a Thursday with Rez and Alan and Johnny, 7 o'clock. So they're the two shows that we put out, and it'd be great, great to see everyone in the chat today, and thanks for all the support that we've had, the last few weeks and months. It's been great, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow and meeting the man down there in person. The legend that's Bob Spur, and there's going to be a load of us there, and then we'll head to Brighton in a pack mentality and walk away with 3 points. So it's going to be great. And thanks for having me on, Chris. It was my I lost my virginity today, so it's not many shows that I haven't been on. If I'm honest,
I'm glad I was the one to help you do that.
Can we just clarify? It means his virginity when it comes to his channel, not in general.
I've got
he's not sharing.
if I haven't lost my virginity before then that's a weird concept. You know.
Yeah.
Made your debut.
Sorry.
I would like to point out I'm fairly confident I didn't help with that. But yeah, in terms of the what Rez was doing, Bobby K said it's a good promo. My boys made a bet that if they hit 500 subs, they're getting matching tattoos. Still don't understand it because I'm 214 before this show aired. If I get to 300, I'll be delighted, and that's it.
Give a thumbs up.
Yeah, 300 subs. Cheers. I refuse to spend the week in the shitter. But yeah, thanks to you guys for coming on. Always great to talk to you guys. Please hit the like, please hit the subscribe and the notification bell. Really helps get us up to 300, where I will not be eating something that will kill me. And then, go into the description, follow Brad on Twitter, and then you'll get notified when his YouTube channel is coming along. And follow Bob and Nick on Twitter as well. Their Twitter handles are there. And then go to Shelfside Spurs, Bob Spur TV. If you haven't already, subscribe. And just watch a load of their content. Absolutely great content. And we'll be back 7:30 on Monday with a Brighton review on the Hotspur Hood channel, not this channel. So jump over there, give them a subscription. And then 12:30 again here to preview the next game, which I'm not sure what that game is. An experienced host would know what game that is. Brentford, which, we'll be previewing that, which... we'll see how that goes. But hopefully all that matters at the moment is getting that 3 points against Brighton and any means necessary, putting that pressure on Arsenal. And thanks everybody for watching all the comments. But like I say, please hit the like, please hit the subscribe. Happy Easter, everybody. And let's hope Spurs can give us a good Easter tomorrow. And with that being said, by the way. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And and as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Thank you so much for watching, and to everybody who joined in the live chat. Before you go, please leave a like, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's all free and you'll be notified when we go live. Anyone who missed the live stream can still watch the replay on YouTube, and any comments, questions or suggestions on the comments there. For anyone listening to the audio-only podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anyone who wants that podcast, you can get that wherever you get your podcast from. Alternatively, go to our Twitter or Instagram page on the screen. We'll be back on Monday on the Hotspur Hood YouTube channel. Give them a subscribe. We're there at 7:30 p.m. UK time. And we're on this channel, Let's Talk Tottenham, 12:30 p.m. UK time again on Fridays. And